What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson, and we're once again talking about the New York Giants wide receiver core today because at OTAs, they've looked really solid, and Jalin Hyatt stepping out here, making plays in OTA practices, releasing some really nice quotes to the media, and also Malik Neighbors has looked like an absolute superstar. Art Stapleton of North Jersey said that yesterday's practice that he saw out of Malik Neighbors was the best that he'd seen from any Giants wide receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. Very high praise there for the Giants' first-round rookie, and we're really excited about these two. We think that Neighbors and Hyatt both could have big-time seasons in 2024, and we kind of just want to discuss our excitement about them as they've really been popping out at OTAs and making some big-time plays. So we're going to go ahead and dive into those two players and talk about the Giants wide receivers, but before we do so, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring the bell so don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're listening to Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, Alex, how are you doing today, my friend, and how are you feeling about Malik Neighbors and Jalin Hyatt absolutely tearing it up at OTAs?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. And look, you watch the clips of Malik Neighbors. Dude is special. The guy's got speed. He looks, and by the way, he's like ripped. He's not like this small, skinny dude. He's built, and he's 20 years old. This guy's only going to get stronger and more physical, and even better and faster and stronger. So like, you look at Malik Neighbors. You see him with the catches he's making. Drew Lock had a gorgeous deep ball to him. I think it was yesterday. He made a really nice catch in coverage. And one of the most like underrated narratives that I think should be more of a talking point this offseason is the fact that Deonte Banks and Malik Neighbors are going to be going 1v1 with each other. You know, that iron sharpens iron kind of mentality. I love it. Like that's what you want. You want Neighbors and Banks, two explosive players, and Banks said he's an explosive player. We're like the same exact guy, except on different sides of the football. You know, both elite speed, both physical. Like these are really, really great young talents who are going to make each other better in practice, and I think that really is where it starts in practice. But Neighbors, man, the quickness and agility you saw. I think he had just like a route over the middle, and wow, his change of direction. He took a left turn. And in the blink of an eye, he went from straight line to cutting across the field with basically no loss in momentum or speed. It is very rare that you find a player that can not lose top speed taking a left turn, you know what I mean, or a right turn. It is, incredible. The separation he's going to create in this offense, the abilities and opportunities he's going to open up for whoever's playing quarterback, whether it be Daniel Jones or anybody else in the future, is a really good thing for this team. And you look at Justin Jefferson's contract, $35 million per season. CeeDee Lamb is currently holding out for his new deal. You're looking at a guy who's making less than $10 million on average per season in Malik Neighbors, and going to bring you hopefully the value that they bring to their offense at a fraction of the cost, a third, fourth of the cost. That really opens up a lot of opportunity to spend at other positions in the future, especially if they decide, well, we want to reset the quarterback window and, go get a rookie with a nice rookie contract. The Giants are going to have more money than you can even imagine to spend. Brian Burns' contract doesn't matter. Dexter Lawrence doesn't matter. Andrew Thomas doesn't freaking matter because you have a wide receiver and a quarterback on rookie contracts long term. That would open up the ability to go out and if you want to go acquire a star player like a Christian McCaffrey, just throwing that name out there because that's what the 49ers did. They got Brock Purdy and went and just, spent big on a superstar running back. That opens up the ability for the Giants to do crazy, really fun stuff like that. Not build around a running back who, obviously we love Saquon and we loved him when he was here, but, obviously it wasn't the right way to build a roster. The Giants are kind of putting the pieces in place to have the ability to go get that next level talent that, is on a bad team that is just not going anywhere. That's what they're kind of positioning themselves to do. It seems like, the right move. I like the positional value that we've added this offseason in terms of reinvesting in spots that are just good long term. But, you look at this offense, Anthony. What have you seen from Neighbors that makes you so excited? Obviously, on basic film, of course, it's just throwing in shorts, catching in shorts. There's no actual hitting or really physicality here. But, some of these catches, the change of direction, the stuff you see, it is clear how talented this kid is, right?
Yeah, it's abundantly clear. I mean, it was abundantly clear when you turned on the film at LSU or even just watched the highlights of him at LSU. The way that he moves, his body control at the catch point is spectacular. Malik Neighbors is a tremendous talent. That's why he was my favorite wide receiver prospect in this draft class. That's why I was thrilled when the Giants took him at number 6 after not being able to land the quarterback that they desired. But Malik Neighbors at practice so far, what really stood out to me in that one clip that went viral yesterday of him scoring that touchdown from Drew Lock, the one that you mentioned, was the body control at the catch point. Now, that was a pass that he had to high point. It was down the sideline. It was in a tight area, but he managed to get his hands on it, keep his body in control, and get his feet down for the touchdown grab. That was impressive because that's something that's been missing from the Giants offense. It's an element of playing receiver that is so crucial when talking about converting receptions into touchdowns, right? If you have a receiver that you could throw a difficult contested target to, and he can go up there and make a play on it despite the contest and despite the traffic around him, that's a difference maker. A player that can make these contested catches, bring the ball down despite being in a close quarters, making those plays, that makes him such a special player. And also, all the routes that we've seen him run, he explodes out of them. He's so quick off the line of scrimmage. His release package is great. He's just an all-around excellent wide receiver. And like you said, he's 6 foot 200 pounds. Also, Deonte Banks is 6 foot 200 pounds. They weigh and they are like the exact same height and weight. It's pretty interesting there. So I'm excited to see those battles continue, especially when the pads do come on. I believe today it was just announced July 23rd is the start of training camp for the New York Giants. They will have their first practice on the 24th. So you could expect sometime around July 30th is when we'll finally see the pads come on, and we'll see Malik Neighbors run through or Deonte Banks tackle Malik Neighbors and all of that fun stuff. So it's only going to heat up and get more exciting in East Rutherford for the Giants as they continue their summer practices. But right now, it's been really exciting to watch Malik Neighbors run these routes, see him look so fluid out of his breaks. His change of direction is special, and his body control at the catch point is also looked rather special. So excited for when the pads come on so that we could see that in a little bit more of a intense situation and critical situation for Neighbors. But man, he's looked like the best playmaker that the Giants have had in the receiving department since Odell. It's been a long time. OBJ hasn't been here for 6 years, but consequently, the Giants haven't had a wide receiver cross 1,000 yards since OBJ left. Malik Neighbors should be the one to end that drought, and right now at practice, he absolutely looks like he will be the receiver to end that drought sooner rather than later. But let's also talk about Jalin Hyatt, Alex. Jalin Hyatt had some interesting quotes. He talked about the fact that he put on a lot of weight this offseason. Not bad weight, but muscle. He looks more bulked up. He looks stronger, and that's a good thing because I think last season he did look a little bit overpowered at times, looked a little bit undersized, looked like maybe he could benefit from adding some weight and some muscle mass to his frame. He's done that, and he also made a bold claim that I know you're really interested in talking about, Alex. So how are you feeling about Jalin Hyatt, and what is that bold claim that he made that had you so intrigued?
Well, Jalin Hyatt, I do agree with you. I think that the added muscle mass is going to be huge for him because he was just losing some of these reps because he was getting jammed, or maybe at the catch point he was being out muscled. I think this added, if he can maintain his speed, which I think he will, this is going to be really good for him. I think he's going to be able to fight off those cornerbacks a lot better. I think at the point of attack. I do know that, off the line of scrimmage in terms of just being jammed, he'll be able to fight through those a little bit more efficiently. And just the contact, keeping hands, your hand fighting, that arm strength is important, man. That positioning of your hands, just keeping guys away from you, a little bit of separation. Obviously, you're not trying to push off, but just a little bit of a nudge, that little bit of extra strength and create, think about it. A game, football is a game of inches. If you can create an inch more space for yourself just because you have a little bit more muscle mass, it does make a difference. It could be the difference between winning a football game and losing a football game. We could see a moment where he's stronger and we just won that game because he made that catch and put us in field goal position. You know what I mean? It does get that. It does make a difference. And I want to make that, obviously clear. But I do think that Jalin had a pretty interesting quote yesterday. He said, "We are a playoff team." Now, I think my first reaction to that is this team has a lot to prove before I can sit here and tell you they're a playoff team. Do I think they have enough talent to win football games? I do. I think Neighbors adds a tremendous amount of talent to this wide receiver unit. I think we have an under. I know Jordan Rana of ESPN said that we have one of the worst running back groups in the league. I disagree. I like Devin Singletary, and I think Tyrone Tracy is going to be a really underrated asset for us. Now, I could be totally wrong. We could absolutely have one of the worst running back units in football. But Devin Singletary is a good player. If you look at his numbers side by side with Saquon Barkley last year, I mean, their offensive lines were both below average, the Giants being a little bit more below average. Devin Singletary's numbers were pretty similar to Saquon's, and I think that he's going to be a decent player for us. Of course, he's not like that home run hitter, but I think Tracy could be an interesting kind of gadget option, especially because he has a lot of receiving upside and maybe a third down option too. Maybe he works his way into more of a timeshare. So we'll see how things progress at the running back spot. But with that being said, we're focused on the passing game. Our defense is good enough to hold up. Our pass rush could be top 10 if all things, go well. Brian Burns is that good. Dexter Lawrence is that good. Kayvon Thibodeau could be that good. Okereke is that good at linebacker. Banks has legitimate, superstar upside at corner. I love, what the building blocks of this team look like. We just kind of lack depth, and the offensive line is a major question mark. We just don't know. This team could be a playoff team for sure if the offensive line just plays well, right? That really could be the difference maker. And if Daniel Jones takes some big steps forward, they have to be big, not little steps. Daniel Jones has to get a lot better. Nobody's saying he can't, right? He has the best work ethic on the team. He shows up at 5:30, yada, yada, yada. I want to see it on the football field in prime time against Dallas and Arlington. That's where I want to see it. I don't give an absolute crap about OTAs and shorts. I don't care to see these freaking throws. I fell for this mirage before, Anthony. We both have. Everybody, every single year. Whoa, really nice pass there. Oh, wow, look at that. I don't care. I want to see it in freaking game time. Not in shorts and OTAs when your quarterback can't be touched. I want to see it happen when he's on the run, when DeMarcus Lawrence is breathing down his neck. That's when I want to see these things happen. Got to see it in live action. I think everyone can agree with that, though. These overblown videos of practice are just they're entertaining, they're fun, they're engagement getters for the social media department for the Giants, and they're cool, and they get their love and they get their optimism, I love the optimism, love the positivity. I'm here to enjoy it too, but I'd rather win football games, and that's kind of my MO at this point in time. Is this team good enough to win a playoff game? Is this team good enough to win the playoffs? That entirely depends on Daniel Jones and the offensive line, in my opinion. I imagine you probably agree with that.
I do agree with that because I thought last year the defense was good enough to make it to the postseason. And at the end of the day, I've made this point many times on this show throughout the offseason as we discuss whether or not the New York Giants should continue with Daniel Jones or draft a quarterback. I made the point that the Giants finished with 6 wins, but they were 3 plays away from finishing with 9 wins, and those 3 plays were really brought about by bad quarterback play. And what I'm essentially referring to is the Jets game. I think that was week 10, somewhere around there. The Giants lost that game. They had a third down that they could have converted, but they didn't. Tommy DeVito, they didn't ask him to throw past the line of scrimmage, so they ended up punting, losing that game ultimately. So there's one of them. How about Buffalo Bills, that game on Monday night? There were 2 conversion opportunities on the 1-yard line. Tyrod Taylor didn't convert either one of them, so the Giants lost those games. So, again, 6 wins rather than 8 after those 2. And the last one being Tyrod Taylor missing Saquon Barkley on the 2-point conversion versus the Los Angeles Rams in Week 17. If the Giants make those 3 plays, they get those 3 wins, and they do make the postseason because they had the tiebreaker over the 9-win Green Bay Packers after beating them in primetime. So, quarterback play. What I brought that up again, and I've brought it up again many times on the show, but I'm bringing it up right now to highlight the fact that quarterback is the most important position. You live and you die by the quarterback position. The quarterback is the difference oftentimes between winning and losing. Making that one play, having that killer mentality or that instinct to convert that third down or that 2-point conversion, whatever it is, or that 1-yard line conversion opportunity. All of those plays come together, and if you make those consistently, you are a good quarterback. But the Giants didn't have consistent quarterback play last year, and I recognize Daniel Jones had zero relation to any of those 3 plays that I just mentioned. And I'm not trying to make this necessarily a Daniel Jones conversation, but just a quarterback conversation. It is the most important position, not only in football, but in all of sports. And those 3 plays really do highlight for the Giants how important it is that your quarterback is playing at a high level. So, unless Daniel Jones is playing at a high level, you can't make the playoffs. You have to have your quarterback playing top-tier football in order to be a playoff team. And Daniel Jones in 2022, he played some damn good football. Yeah, he only had 15 touchdowns passing. He also added 7 on the ground. I know that 22 total touchdowns isn't the most impressive number, but he only turned the ball over 1.1% of his passing attempts. Only had 5 interceptions that year. He played winning football. He kept the ball clean. Now this past season, he had an interception per game essentially, 6 picks in 6 starts. That is where Daniel Jones started to lose confidence from the fan base. In 2024, he's got to keep the ball clean. He has to play winning football the same way that he did in 2022. And if he's able to do that, then yeah, the Giants could potentially be a playoff team again. They could surprise the whole league the same way that they did 2 seasons ago. and it's really going to rest on the shoulders of the quarterback, though. If Daniel Jones can play at a high level, if he can make sure that the football stays out of harm's way and that the Giants are scoring touchdowns and stacking wins, then maybe by the time we get to December, we are talking about playoff football. But that all remains to be seen. So I don't necessarily agree with Jalin Hyatt. I don't necessarily disagree with Jalin Hyatt. I got to see what this team looks like at the beginning of the season before I make my determination as to whether or not I think they really do have postseason potential. But right now, I'm really excited about the group of playmakers that the Giants have. I really love what Jalin Hyatt is bringing to the offense with that vertical threat. Hopefully, the added muscle mass and strength makes him a more effective player in 2024. And I do think that Malik Neighbors is going to be a superstar from day one. He does give me shades of Odell Beckham Jr., the way that he was tearing it up in practice as a rookie. And then immediately, once he got onto the regular season field in week 4, scored that touchdown, never looked back. I'm hoping that Malik Neighbors has a similar story, gets onto the field in week 1, makes some plays, and just continues doing that for a very long time for the New York Giants. But, Alex, any closing thoughts on Jalin Hyatt, Malik Neighbors, this wide receiver duo, and what it means for the New York Giants for these two to be special?
Look, guys, long term, this is a really good situation to have, right? Brian Burns, first year of his contract. Dexter Lawrence, first year of his contract. Kayvon Thibodeau still going into year 3. We have a lot of linchpin pieces on this roster that are going into long-term deals right now, and a lot of really young talent on this roster that are still in rookie deals, if not just at the beginning of them, like guys like Banks, like I mentioned, Thibodeau, of course, Malik Neighbors. So this is a good situation for the Giants to be in. They're building out the foundation of this roster with talent, and it seems to me like whatever happens to Daniel Jones will be the determining factor of their long-term success. If he has a really great season, maybe we keep him and then they just keep rolling forward. If he doesn't have a great season, they're in a really good position to go up and get a really young, great quarterback with a lot of really good pieces already established on this team. And then they'll have a lot of money to spend in free agency too. So I kind of feel like this team is positioned well this season. We don't really know what's going to happen, but let's enjoy the ride because at least we're trending in a better direction. Better contracts, better cap health, better talent, a lot more athleticism. There is reason to be optimistic right now. I would love to see better coaching. I think this receiver unit is very underrated, especially with the addition of Neighbors, which makes it underrated. But I'm excited to see how they maximize them, and this offense is going to take a pretty big change, a big turn in terms of how they operate in the passing game and not running through the running game. So going to be a pretty big shift there in terms of reliance on key players. But I do think Neighbors is going to be a long-term superstar for this team if he reaches his potential. It's just really a matter of staying healthy and obviously getting him the football efficiently. But yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming season because there's a lot of talent I am excited to watch.
Me too, and none more so for me than Malik Neighbors. As you guys know, long-term viewers of the channel know, I love the wide receiver position. It's my bread and butter. It's what makes me so excited to watch football, and Malik Neighbors being on this team is huge. I just can't wait to watch him play. And just to tie it back into that point that we made about the playoffs and Daniel Jones needing to play at a high enough level to make the postseason, if Daniel Jones has Malik Neighbors fully healthy this season and is getting him the football, there's no reason why Daniel Jones shouldn't put up higher touchdown numbers and play better this season. So not only will Neighbors benefit from good quarterback play out of Jones, Jones will benefit from having Malik Neighbors on the football field, and Jalin Hyatt and Wandale and Darius Slayton. A lot of really solid playmakers in the Giants receiving corps. So really excited about it. Looking forward to rookie mini camp, or I guess full team mini camp beginning this week or next week. And then obviously it'll ramp up into training camp next month. And boom, next thing you know, the regular season is right around the corner. So it's going to be a really fun summer here on Fireside Giants, breaking down the players and all of their practices throughout the offseason. Make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. Comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're listening out on Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.
Perfect.